folks, Steven here, and welcome into TK Power Sports. Well, today I am here in Watkins Glen, New York to do something I have never done before, and that is to race ATVs. I'm out here with Yamaha to race this Grizzly in the 4x4 sport class, and I can't wait to get out there and see what this is all about, and I'm going to tell you all about it, so make sure you stay tuned. Well, Johnny, I'm stoked to go racing today, man, and I'm going to be racing on one of these Grizzlies, so I just want to go over everything that's been changed on this unit to, make it race ready.
Yeah, so thankfully it's a very capable platform in stock trim,
Sure.
But the folks at B&R, basically we shipped them 3 Grizzlies, and they started from there, basically assessed the machine, saw where they could make some performance upgrades. The biggest thing on this machine at this point, the B&R Fox shocks,
Right.
So all 4 shocks have been replaced. The machine's been lowered down about 1.5 inches. Just give it better cornering, better stability, and it still maintains a great ride quality. You'll see when you get out there and the track gets rough, it really eats up the rough stuff.
Cool.
A lot of other mods, they basically took and built custom steering stems.
Okay.
So obviously the stock steering stem has the headlight and the gauge cluster and everything incorporated into it. They relocated the gauge cluster to the top of the trunk for just better visibility and kind of clean up the look of it, but also for performance as well. The steering stem is extended, so to maintain the stock bar height, these are the fast flex bars, so you actually get some suspension out of the handlebars, they move. So they had to make a custom steering stem with custom clamps to be able to accommodate the flex bars. We've got the power mat handguards to keep the hands protected, ODI grips to be able to hold on to it. A few other things, the RRP custom foot pegs for in the footwells there, just for a little bit better grip than the stock foot pegs. And then the very intricate RRP wheels that B&R builds for strength. Also, they are beadlock wheels, and we have a run flat system in there, tire balls. So there is air inside the GBC tires, but then also there's individual inflation cells in there called tire balls. So if you puncture the carcass of the tire, you still maintain pressure. And then I think the last thing, we have the B&R built custom front push bar and custom rear push bar just for a little protection for the machine. Some skid plates to protect the underside of the machine as well. And then they actually upgraded some steering components as well. So these are YFZ 450R tie rods and tie rod ends that are just a little bit beefier than the Grizzly for just additional steering stability and durability out there on the tough trail. And then we've got an HMF exhaust to give it a little bit extra pep in its step. And
otherwise powertrain is stock?
Yep, powertrain's completely stock. They run really well in stock form, and I had the opportunity to go out and race one earlier this year. It was a ton of fun. Looking forward to you getting out there and getting your take on how it is.
Yeah, me too, man. So obviously this one's been pretty well built. I think my other question is just, if you want to get into this for the least amount of money possible, what do you need to do to your machine? Because this is a stock category, right?
So this class obviously was kind of the brainchild of the folks at Yamaha to be able to have a single cylinder 4x4 class. And when GNCC agreed to do this class, the only requirement is to the stock Grizzly, you do have to remove any metal racks just for safety reasons. So you can literally come out with a completely stock machine and be competitive. A few recommended upgrades, I would say, changing out the wheels and tires and running some type of flat prevention system. There's a lot of trail hazards and rocks out on the trail, but beyond that, it's a very budget-friendly class for someone just to be able to go to the dealership, grab a Yamaha Grizzly, take it out, go racing, and upgrade the machine as they go. And
here
the rain's
comes the rain,
starting
so
to
it's
come
going to be
down.
an interesting race, man. Well, I appreciate it, Johnny. Thanks.
Absolutely.
Now, Johnny gave me a few pointers, and who better than Johnny Gallagher? He's honestly a legend around here. And then I took off to find the start line. First, you have to stop at tech inspection, and they make sure your kill switch is working. And then you have to navigate your way over and find where the rest of the competitors in your class are lined up. And that's tricky enough. You can see here the amount of people and bikes and babies and other racers that are all trying to gather in this same field. So it can be a little bit tricky navigating your way up. I even bumped into a guy right here, although in typical Canadian fashion, I did apologize.
Sorry.
And after that, I was able to snake my way through and find the other competitors in the 4x4 sport class. Then one by one in front of us, we got to watch each class take off until it was our turn. Now it's a cold start, so the machine starts off. They wave the green flag, then you have to start the ATV, and away you go. And here you can see us taking off across the field. As I've already mentioned, this was my first time racing an ATV, so I honestly came into it with the mindset of if I finish the race, I'll feel pretty good, and if I can keep up with the competitors in my class, I'll definitely feel good. So during the field section here, I wasn't pushing too hard. I let them get a little bit ahead of me. That's what every racer says, right? You let them get ahead of you. And then finally, once you get into the forest, you can see it goes very much single file. So at this point, I was just focused on, let's see what the pace is. Let's see if I can even keep up. I had no clue whether I was going to be incredibly slow compared to these guys or whether I'd be able to hang. And so far, so good. The first 5, 10, 15 minutes of the race, I was basically right there with the other competitors in the 4x4 sport class. Now, luckily for me, I grew up on trails exactly like this. Here in Ontario, our forested trails look just like the trails in upstate New York. So in terms of the actual trails we were running on, I felt right at home, in the trees, in the roots, a couple rocks here and there. I talked to some other competitors and they said that this Watkins Glen course was a very easy course compared to some of the other that you're gonna see on GNCC. Now, the other thing you gotta watch out for with GNCC is quicker racers behind you, and I knew a lot of people on this course were gonna be quicker than me, so this was the first instance of somebody coming up behind me and screaming at me to move out of the way, so I obliged, of course. And it's at this point that I'm about 20 minutes into the race, and all the adrenaline is starting to sort of go away a little bit. I'm sinking into my pace, and this is when I had to remind myself, hey, I'm here for fun. I'm not competing for money. I'm here to make a cool YouTube video to share the experience with you guys. So let's make sure we don't get in anyone's way. I'm not here to piss anybody off. So you can see some more guys passing me there, and I was definitely head on a swivel the whole race to make sure I wasn't holding anybody up. Now here comes the first excitement of the race. Maybe 25 minutes in, I come around the corner and see this ATV rolled over. Now everyone was just running by him, and I was gonna do the same until I realized this was another Yamaha racer by the name of Justin. Hey Justin, if you're watching this. Justin had a little whoopsie with the tree, and he came off the ATV and rolled it. He's also a media member, so of course I felt obliged to help him. So I threw my ATV off to the side. I helped Justin get back onto his wheels here, but his Grizzly was sitting right in the middle of the trail. So we tried to start it. It wouldn't start right away. Turns out it just needed a key cycle, but in that moment, I didn't think to reach over and cycle the key. I just figured it was unhappy because it had been up on its side. So tried to start it, and then I decided, you know what, let's just pull this sucker out of the way, and at the very least, then the other racers can get by. Justin can catch his breath because he was looking pretty winded, pretty shocked. So we made sure that right here, I moved this tree very forcefully, and then I pulled him off the trail, so that at least I felt good knowing he was safe, he was okay, and he was no longer blocking the trail. You all right? Yeah, I'm all right. In my first lap, I started to feel pretty good. I was getting into a flow. I was passing some other racers who had either hurt themselves or dropped out of the race. So yeah, I knew I wasn't the slowest guy out there. However, I had a classic case of bad judgment right here. I was coming along. No one was even around me or pushing me, and I tried to shoot this pretty tight gap between two trees. I thought I'd fit, and I did not fit. I wasn't even going that quickly when I hit the trees, but still, it shot me forward. My knees and my upper thighs banged into the handlebars, and it hurt me a bit, but I was mostly just shocked. I threw it in reverse, and I got out of there. Now, right away, I felt that something was wrong. Suddenly, the steering felt a little bit off. Even the brakes felt weak on the one side. So I knew I'd done damage, but of course, I just kept on riding, and the Grizzly kept on rolling, and I wasn't gonna stop to do a full inspection at this point. So I just continued my race, and honestly, the machine held up well. It wasn't until the end until I realized how much damage I did. see just how busy the race course is. That's definitely one of the most intense parts of GNCC racing, is you're running your own race. You're also paying attention to the other competitors around you. You're sometimes going straight wheel to wheel. You are able to pick different lines if you have to, and many times somebody gets hung up in front of you, you do have to choose a different line. So truly, it's an adrenaline-packed experience. Now, of course, you want to know how I did? Well, in the 4x4 sport category, I came in second to last, just in front of Justin, who sadly didn't finish the race because he did end up cracking some of his ribs. So he did 2 laps, I did 3 laps, and the other competitors in my category, well, most of them did 4 laps. So yes, I was last of the ATVs to finish, but second last overall, and I'll go ahead and take that for my first ever GNCC race. And honestly, at one point there was a huge mud pit. People were getting stuck in, the racers were fighting their way through it. I sat back and watched. I took a good 10 minutes where I did not move those tires one bit because I was happy to just watch the chaos unfold in front of me, and I wasn't there competing for money. So yeah, it was just cool to have a front row seat to those guys. When I pulled off the course, I was very lucky. My family was there waiting for me. My kids, of course, I told them I won. They never need to know the difference. One day they'll figure it out. But yeah, it was cool to see them. They were able to watch me come around, come through the checkered flag. And now here you can check out my little post-race report that I did.
All right, folks, off course now, done racing. I'm in one piece. The ATV is mostly in one piece. I did lose a skid plate, and that's because I bent this front left control arm pretty good. I just stuffed this thing between 2 trees. I thought I was gonna make it, picked a line, and then boom, I did not make it, but credit to the ATV. That happened to me on lap 1, and I still made it 3 laps, so it did the rest of the race with that bent control arm. What can I say? First of all, talking about the way the ATV handles, the suspension upgrades here are massive. Just getting lower to the ground really helps you get that low center of gravity. Coming around that corners, it never wants to high side you, never felt like it wanted to roll. And then through those root sections, through those gnarly rocks, yeah, it just felt like it was eating it up quite a bit better than a stock Grizzly would have. So I did appreciate the suspension changes here. When it comes to power, plenty of power. I mean, this was a technical course. There wasn't a lot of places where you were really opening it up. So actually, I think that's where this thing really shined, was through those rocky, rooted sections. You get that low-end torque, which really, really felt good. And then finally, just talking about the race, this was my first experience ever racing an ATV, and that is intense, absolutely intense. And I realized when the pro racers passed me, the pro women were on course with us, when they passed me, what they're doing and what I'm doing is entirely different. They're just incredible. But that's the beauty of GNCC and an event like this, is you have people who are professionals who are here to win money, and then you have people like me, you have amateurs who can get on a relatively stock 4x4 ATV and still get that thrilling race experience. So yeah, I can't recommend this enough, and I do think the beauty of this class too is the barrier to entry is pretty low. This is not an expensive thing that you have to pour tons of money into. I mean, assuming you're not breaking your ATV every weekend, but that's the beauty. Anyone could come out here and do this, and I highly recommend it. So if you can get your hands on any 4x4 ATV, but especially a Grizzly, GNCC could be for you. Well, folks, we're coming to the end of this one. Now, the last thing I'll say about GNCC, as a spectator, you're really right up close and personal with the racing. Not only is the race course literally through the campground, so you can get your RV right backed up to it, but then through the forest sections, you can hike out there and be anywhere you want. Now, you gotta be careful out there because these ATVs are flying through. But if you just want to come check this out, there's not a lot of racing these days that you can get so immersed in, and I think that's why GNCC is really exciting. And then yeah, if you want to come race, I love that they have this stock 4x4 class. So that's it for me, folks. Please drop in the comments now. Let me know, what do you think about everything you've seen in this video. As always, while you're down there, don't forget to hit like, hit subscribe, hit join, become a member of TK Power Sports, and then come right back here to the channel and see what we're testing next. See ya.